With movies like Little by Peep and Altered Hours under her belt, we knew actress Anna Shields would be a fun interview. She spoke with Dan Boshart about writing and starring in her latest movie, Dawn of the Beast, as well as some of her past roles. Before we hear from them, let's take a look at the trailer for her latest film.
That looks good on
I want to keep it.
We have to go right now.
You're in for quite a treat this weekend as we delve into our new area of study.
So what class is this for, anyway?
It's called cryptozoology. We study mythical folklore animals.
Today is about exploring the territory. Anything that sheds light on the existence of Bigfoot.
There's an unspeakable evil living out in those woods. And you better hope it doesn't sense your presence. Because if it knows you're there, they'll be coming for you.
I found this book. It talks about all kinds of creatures. The Wendigo.
That's the spirit. It's what gets in your head. And that's what you become once the spirit finds you.
You're telling me that Bigfoot isn't the only monster out there?
It knows we're here. They're coming.
There will be no more light tonight. The darkness of the night brings out the evil that is the Wendigo. The night's end brings the dawn. And with the dawn comes the light.
You have a new movie coming out, Dawn of the Beast. Did you want to tell us a little bit about this new movie you have coming out?
Sure, yeah, it actually came out today, which is exciting. It is a insane creature feature. So it's about a class of graduate studios studying cryptozoology. They go out into the Adirondacks and search for Bigfoot. But while they're out there, they actually find the spirit of the Wendigo. And then it ends in an epic battle between Bigfoot and the Wendigo. So it's kind of combining the two universes in one.
So this is pretty cool, actually. Now, tell us the reason for this battle between the Bigfoot and the Wendigo. There is actually a little bit of history as far as films go, isn't there?
Yeah. So Bruce and I, he's the director on this. We actually worked together previously. We made one called Monsters, which was just about Bigfoot. He made one called The Retreat, which was just about the Wendigo. So we thought it would be a cool idea to kind of make our own little story among the two creatures and kind of make this kind of imaginary backstory about this epic battle that's been going on between the two behind the scenes. And but in terms of the actual monsters, we tried to stay close to like the legends that people actually talk about, like especially with Bigfoot, being careful not to make him just like this evil monster when so many people see him as more of like a protector of the forest. He's got a very strong following. And the Wendigo, we tried really hard to stay with the kind of Native American stories with kind of a separate spirit that's changing the people into cannibals. And then we kind of just played on that and made them into those little creatures just for a little more fun.
Yeah, it was really creepy special effects. I thought very good special effects.
Yeah, that was actually, we lucked out so bad with with Jared Balog. He made the movie with those effects. It was so cool. And we were corresponding with him ahead of time, obviously, and he did a whole cask for one of the actresses' heads before she turns into a demon. And the majority of the movie was all prosthetics, which was so much fun. And like in an particular arm ripping scene, he worked so hard with just all these specific ligaments and everything nasty in the arm. And then he had two huge pumps of blood that were just going at the same time. Like, he did so much work. It was incredible. And yeah, he's great. Jerry Balog.
Where did you meet Bruce? How did you and Bruce Wemple hook up?
We actually met a while ago, back when I was in college. We were both in college, I think, in upstate New York. And the first time I met him was on a medical training video that the production company back then he was a part of was doing those in the Albany area, and I was acting in one. And then he made his first feature called Altered Hours, which is a sci-fi time travel one. And he asked me to play a role in that, so I did. And then after that, we kind of just really hit it off and became like super close friends. And then I believe we did the next movie was Lake Artifact that we did, which was also sci-fi, but starting to get into that thriller horror-y territory. And that one he wrote, but we were in constant communication before it. So we were kind of planning and like casting together and stuff. And then since then, we've just been like bouncing off of ideas and everything and kind of creating all this stuff together, which has been great.
You wrote the script for this movie, right?
Yes.
As well as, was it the movie Monstrous? You wrote the script for that one as well. That one, you didn't originally plan that to have a creature in it, did you?
No, yeah, it's interesting. Originally it was supposed to be just a thriller. I had written another script, I think a year before that, a short story and then a script, and it was kind of just this psychological cat and mouse thriller between these two women. And then I think we were pitching it around and we had kind of a lead with a salesperson, and they were saying like, a lot of people want these creature features right now. Is there any way you could add one? And we were like, at first I was like, no, of course not. And then Bruce and I were like, hold on, let's think about this. And Bruce was the one to throw out Bigfoot. And, that one's more of a serious tone. So at first I was like, what are you talking about? No, let's just make our own creature, whatever. But then as I thought about it and I started actually looking into Bigfoot, researching, he's got just this amazing fan base who are like 100% serious about him and take it seriously. And I just had no idea that he was known as more of a protector, not evil in some ways, and just all the history behind it. And then we just thought it was this great opportunity to kind of turn the silly context. You hear Bigfoot, you think silly. And then I was like, how cool would it be to make like a kind of dark, moody-ish thriller and then just have Bigfoot in it? So that's how that happened.
I think it works. The cinematography and the editing, I think, was really good in that movie. Like the way you see Bigfoot at the beginning with the light behind him and everything, looked very realistic to me.
Awesome.
It didn't look hokey. But I mean, you can get away with cheesy and hokey in horror movies, right?
For sure, yeah. And that one was harder because we were trying to go more for the Jaws mode, of just barely seeing it since it wasn't super campy, that one. This Dawn of the Beast, I think we leaned way more into the sillier vibe, although still scary, but a little sillier.
Yeah, it's what you can't see sometimes that's even more scary, right?
Exactly. Yes.
You've done a lot of horror. Is that your favorite type of movie to make, or?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I love horror. It's like if I'm gonna watch a movie, it's probably gonna be a horror movie. But I wrote 2 comedies. One got made, and the other one's sitting around. But it's just hard unless somebody hands me, like, I've gotten handed like little outlines and things and like, okay, write this, and it's not horror. I'm like, okay. But if I'm just writing on my own and outlining on my own, it just always ends up going the horror route. I don't know. But I think one day I'll write something not horror, but right now I'm happy to ride that way.
Your first film that you wrote and directed in college, Little by Peep. Tell me a little bit about that one. Was that one horror as well?
It is not. Yeah. So that is the one. Yeah. Yeah, I co-directed that one. John Russell Crane did the most of the direction. But yeah, I was in college and I had never taken a writing class or anything. I just I was doing theater in college because that's what was offered, and I was really very interested in film, which wasn't offered at college. So I was kind of I realized that in upstate New York there was all these filmmakers. I had no idea, so I kind of got into that world, and then I just started writing the script. I don't know where it came from, just out of nowhere. And then one of the directors around there liked it, and we kind of just collaborated, super, super low budget, like nothing. And we just got a bunch of locals that we knew, put it together. But yeah, that one was a dark comedy, and it was hard. It was definitely more of like a festival piece. Like I think it did well in that circuit, but then it was very hard. The distribution, I think, took like a year or two because, you know, it was comedic, but it was also kind of dark, and like it wasn't really a drama. It was weird, but eventually we found a home, which was great.
Was there a little bit of a resistance, do you think, because of the title and the theme, you know, bisexual, you know?
For sure. And I will say, I think I've learned a big lesson, not to throw anyone under the bus or anything, but I think I've learned more about marketing and everything through past things. And even Monstrous was a little hard because we knew it was going to be marketed as a Bigfoot movie, where it was mostly about the relationship between the leads, but it wasn't our call in the end. It's either you get the movie out or you don't. So, and it was kind of a similar situation with Little by Peep. And even the title wasn't my choice, but I'm like, okay, I'm 21, I did a movie, let's get it out there.
Yeah.
But it is interesting how you just kind of lose control sometimes, but I'm glad it's out there.
I think it's important to be honest with your art.
Yeah.
You're working on another project now as well, right? Girls versus Boys?
That is actually a script I wrote a while ago, and my friend put up, because he was pitching to some people, but the real thing I lasted was another one with Bruce that we're in post for now, and that's another horror. And it has to do with, I play a reincarnated roommate, and I'm hosting a demon, and it's way funnier. It's like more of just it's almost a rom-com horror movie. So
What do you prefer more? Writing, directing, producing, acting? What's your favorite thing to do?
It's a real toss-up between writing and acting. I've never full-blown directed anything, and I think for me, I like to just focus more on like my part in something. I think it's harder for me to just look at the entire movie, and I get a little like flustered and I can't concentrate on one thing. So it is a toss-up with acting and writing. I want to say acting because I've been doing like theater even since like middle school, like regional theater, but writing's great to feel a little more in control, because with acting, you know, you're just sitting there waiting for auditions, and then you're getting rejected every single day. With writing, I can like open my laptop, go wherever I want, and just make this entire world, and all this stuff's happening. So but then with acting too, it's nice to get into somebody else's world. Like it always is kind of a relief for me to get somebody's script that I did not write. And because also it's a little harder once I'm acting in something I wrote, because I have such an idea when I'm writing it of all the characters' voices. And then sometimes in the moment, maybe how I planned for it to sound isn't going to work the way the other actors are doing it and how the scene's going. And it's very hard to get out of that. But I'd say toss up writing and acting.
So you moved down to LA 3 years ago, you said?
Yeah. Yep.
How do you find it down there for the business and stuff? Is it tough?
It's tough. Yeah, I definitely prefer it just as a place to live in, which I thought I wouldn't. I was like terrified to leave, and I'm very close with my mom who lives in Massachusetts. I was like, no, but we talk on the phone every day. But you know, obviously the weather's amazing. It's a little more spread out than New York, which is nice. Definitely got more work in New York. I think only because I knew more people around there, and here it's so much about like the mingling, in which is kind of not going on right now with how the world is. But I do definitely just prefer living here, and the contacts I made that were able to get all these movies produced are here. So that's a big win.
So most of the production was done before the pandemic then, I guess?
Also during, it was, yeah.
How did you manage that? It must have been tough.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we did all the safety precautions and everything. Pretty tough though.
Thanks to Dan and Anna for that fun interview. That's all we have for you this time. We'll see you soon.